killing time and giving them time to set up. Okay. All right, we'd like to welcome you and call to order the regular meeting of West Valley City Council. It is February 7th, 2023, and we are meeting at 6:41 p.m. in the City Council chambers of West Valley City Hall. And I need to ask, is Mr. Christensen online? Okay, so we are minus Councilman Christensen. He is excused. We have Councilman Fitzsiamonu, Councilman Whetstone, Councilman Harmon, Councilman Hoon, myself, Mayor, and Councilman Norfelt present. And we are also joined on the dais, our city manager, Mr. Pyle, and our city recorder, Ms. Kamick. All right, we will begin with our opening ceremony, and Councilman Norfelt will present that.
Thank you, Mayor. Will everyone please rise with me and recite the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, thank you. We will now go to our minutes of January 24th, 2023. I'll turn it to the council for a discussion or a motion on the minutes.
Move to approve those minutes. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And those pass. Thank you. We now have our awards and proclamations, and we are privileged tonight. We have Hunter High School, and they're going to explain who they are. Some students that have a proclamation they would like us to accept. And we're going to turn the time over to Sydney Archer, and she's going to explain a little bit about their group and then read us the proclamation. Did we renegotiate?
I am Sydney Archer. I'm part of Hunter High's FBLA chapter. FBLA is our Future Business Leaders of America, and we strive to help students transfer from the school and educational world into the business and often into their careers later in life. Our proclamation is to recognize the week of February 5th as the FBLA week. Whereas Future Business Leaders of America is a nonprofit education association representing the largest business career student organization in the world, with 250,000 students preparing for careers in business and business-related fields. Whereas FBLA functions as an integral part of the instructional program of business education curriculum in secondary schools to help students develop skills and knowledge necessary for college and career success through career and technical education, which fosters productivity in business and industry, contributing to our leadership in the national and international marketplace. And whereas FBLA members, advisors, state officers, alumni, and sponsors be commended for their dedication to developing leaders for the future by preparing students to become community-minded business leaders in a global society through relevant career preparation and leadership experiences. And whereas FBLA's 2022-23 theme of One Organization for Service, Education, and Progress celebrates the integral role this career and technical student organization provides to middle level, high school, and collegiate members, the opportunities for members to embrace the motto service, education, and progress in their daily lives by making connections between school and careers while understanding the realities of the contemporary business world. Now, therefore, we, the mayor and the city council of West Valley City, Utah, do hereby proclaim and recognize the week of February 5th through 11th as Future Business Leaders in America Week and express our appreciation for FBLA's service to the city.
Hey, thank you so very much. It takes a lot of bravery to come up to that podium. So now can we ask the group to come up and we'll do a group picture. And if you just stand in front of us, yeah. You guys all scooch over. All the fun stuff. Right here in front.
There we go.
There we go.
We got you all. 1, 2, and 3. Awesome.
Oh, yes. Sydney, I forgot one more thing. We have a hard copy for you guys to take back, signed and ready for you. Thank you. And that's why we have such great staff to keep me on track. All right, we'll now open our public comment period. Comment period is limited to 30 minutes. Any person wishing to comment shall limit their comments to 5 minutes. Upon recognition by the mayor, you are to approach the microphone. If you did not sign up, if you did not sign up with your name and address, please give us that at the microphone. All comments should be directed to the mayor. No person addressing the council during the comment period shall be allowed to comment more than once during the comment period. And speakers should not expect a debate with the mayor, council, and staff. There will be an opportunity for staff and council to comment after you're finished. So we'll start with speaker 1. And we have a nice little clock. Sure. Derek? Yeah. Sometimes I can read the writing and sometimes I can't.
My writing is terrible, so I appreciate you getting my first name there. Thank you, Mayor, for giving me a chance to speak. I'm here with my business partner, Ian Schwarting, on behalf of our small business, Vara Salon Suites. A little bit about our business: we create spaces for entrepreneurs and sole proprietors to run their beauty and wellness business, a hairstylist, an esthetician. We create spaces where they can start their small business, just them. And yeah, so we house many of these in a community of beauty professionals. A little bit about us: we operate in St. George, Spanish Fork, Orem, Sandy, West Valley, and Ogden. Our business in West Valley recently opened. It's on 3881 West, 3500 South, right just east of the Harmons. It used to be a rent-a-center. The building was in pretty rough condition when we picked it up. This business is pretty much identical across our different locations, the different cities. However, our experience with each city is different. Working with West Valley City has been nothing short of a nightmare. I'm a fairly resilient person, but working with the city has made me want to curl up in a ball and cry multiple times. I'm not being dramatic. That's just honestly how I felt. I'll spare you in describing many of the challenges we've had over the 12 months, just to focus on an issue at hand right now that is especially challenging for our tenants, for our stylists. The current issue is that the city planning and zoning department is blocking business licenses from being issued to our tenants because our beautiful salon does not meet a few specific requirements. We and our stylists have been accused of having an unsafe and unhealthy place to work. I would like to invite everyone here to go to our business, to see it, walk through it, come in through the west door. It's open during business hours, and make your own assessment of our salon if it is unsafe or unhealthy. To be clear, there are a few things that we are not currently compliant with. These are things that we can't do right now because it is the winter. They have to do with landscaping, paving, things that we have to wait until the spring to do. However, we're in this catch-22 because we can't We can't get this work done because of seasonality. Yet the Planning and Zoning Committee will not issue any business licenses to the people working at the salon until these things are finished. Challenging position. We don't know what to do. It's notable that it took us 4 months to get our construction permit in West Valley. In Sandy, it took 2 weeks. Spanish Fork, it took 2 weeks. Orem, it took 4 weeks. Ogden, it took 6 weeks. West Valley, it took 14 weeks. Had we not had that significant delay, we could have done this work before winter arrived. So my request is twofold. One is that I'm seeking help for a resolution to get business licenses for these stylists who are running their business. And the second is for these stylists to stop getting bullied and intimidated by city workers coming into their businesses unannounced and making claims that the place that they work at is unsafe. Thank you, Mayor, for listening.
Thank you. Speaker 2? You're good?
Yeah.
Okay,
Put on 5 minutes.
all right, thank you. Speaker 3?
Hey, Mike Markham. I'm a little confused on some of the stuff. We had a study meeting last week about code enforcement. I don't know if anything ever came out of that meeting or was decided. I don't know. And then some time ago, there was another meeting that was presented to us by Mr. Bunderson about who can't park on the streets. I'm not quite sure there was ever anything solid put in place from that meeting, unless I've missed meetings in between, which, that's possible because I still work and travel. And then there was something brought up today that about Utopia and going to charge us $46,000 to connect the golf course or something like that. I would think Utopia could be a little bit flexible with us because we've bailed their butt out for millions of dollars, but yet there's nothing coming in return from Utopia to us. But it's my understanding and talking to a guy doing cable that Utopia has sold out to Luma or another company. Did the new company absorb the debt that we have for Utopia to eliminate that debt for the taxpayers? I've just missed some of these things along the way, I guess, and I'm not quite sure where to go or, usually I pull somebody aside and say, hey, what's going on here? Are we making a decision? But yeah, the two things that I was confused about was parking and the size of the trucks. I did some checking and Mr. Harmon asked about a 550 Ford pickup being able to park on the street. Can't buy a 550 Ford pickup, would have to be a flatbed, according to our purchasing person, Eric. But yeah, I don't know where we are on these things. We've got spring coming up. We've got some people that's going to have to be nudged a little bit in whatever parking or when it comes to yard maintenance and care. I think everything is in total limbo where anybody can do anything they want in the city. I'm not sure where it's at. But then the comment was made that if somebody is to get a violation for not shoveling their sidewalks, we send them a letter in the mail. By the time that gets there, it's probably melted. I think a little sticky note or a door hanger from the city, something nice saying, hey, it's our code, that you shovel within 24 hours if there's an inch or more, something a little bit more on the ball. You could do a door hanger or something like that so that they would know that they had been contacted, and we could take a picture and say, well, they said, oh, well, I didn't know. Well, right, here's the picture we told you it was. So if we could do something more like that, where we're more spontaneous and getting some of that information out. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Speaker 4?
Mayor, hello. My name is Gary Webster. I'm Congressman Stewart's District Director. I've met many of you and thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. I'll be very brief. I wanted to update you on what Congressman Stewart's new district looks like. We have more of West Valley City now as a result of redistricting. So we go south about 41st south, and so it has expanded somewhat. So I would invite you and your citizenry to know that we are here to assist with any federal situations dealing with various agencies, including that post office that might not get around to delivering those in time for the snow to melt. I will say too, in addition to our redistricting situation, Congressman Stewart sits on some very important committees, one appropriations. And we have been involved in community project funding situations with West Valley City and hope that we can continue with some of those efforts in the future. In addition, he is now on what we call House Appropriations Committee Defense. There are over 211,000 jobs in Utah that serve within the Utah defense industry. Many of those citizens probably live here in West Valley City. So that is one of the additional roles that he has taken on. In addition, of course, he sits on appropriations and has also been appointed to the Select Committee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government. So he will be busy, but as staff, we are here to assist. And if there's anything you need from our office, please feel free to get in touch with us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, speaker 5.
Hello, my name is Richard Nowak. You maybe remember me from being here before. I'd have to agree with the first speaker. I've lived in Sandy, Midvale, Murray, Sugar House, Salt Lake, North Salt Lake, Lehigh, and even out in the Uinta Basin. I've never had the complications of working with the city that I have had in West Valley. So it seems like there must be some issues with the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. I had problems with ordinance years ago and contacted Lane Morris and we were able to work things out. Recently, I also contacted him and he just wanted to stand back and let his personnel do things on their own discretion. So I think I've heard some rumors that there has been some conversations about repairing things. You know, if you remember, I'd only walked down one street and randomly knocked on a few doors and everybody seems to be in agreement that there's a bit of overreach and kind of harassment. I do believe in city ordinance because I do believe the community should be safe, you know, from things like chemicals and dangerous garbage and maybe dilapidation, but you know, things in people's backyards that aren't causing the neighbors a problem or a hazard to the community should be left in place. I've lost a few assets over that. I now have the neighbors' dogs and cats and other farm animals roaming through my front yard because I had to repair the fence, which I showed a permit that was taken out 28 years ago, and I had to modify the fence. I'm hoping that I'm going to try to restore that back to the way that it was originally permitted, because many people think that it was within standards, but just not to this one particular officer's opinion. So anyway, I'm hoping to, you know, moving forward, I used to be a delegate almost a decade ago, and I've met a lot of people in the community, and I think might be pertinent that I'm going to keep in contact with people on my street and adjacent streets to get their opinion. And at times I can come here and actually share the opinion of the community that I'm in, because they would like change or they'd like restoration back to a more peaceful time where they can actually live. And if I want to barbecue some hot dogs in my front yard, I'm going to do that. So anyway, like I said, I had some time today to come in. I just wanted to say that, you know, we finally did come to some resolutions, but not without changes that have affected my existence in this community, and I'm still not happy with it. So anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Speaker 6.
Jim Visak. My address is on the form. Last week, you guys had a nice long discussion about code enforcement. It saddened me, didn't surprise me, and the other that was there, though, the director of code enforcement, Lane Morris, sat in the back, played on his phone, took a nap, joked with the chief of police and Nancy Day as you guys are talking. Like it was a big joke. That he should have been there knowing this is a code enforcement meeting with his iPad or his tablet or something to write on, taking notes instead of basically ignoring you guys. This is a person that has given false and misleading information to previous council and outright lied to you guys. I know that's previous councils. He's showing an ultimate contempt to your authority. Has anybody read the employee's manual other than Mr. Pyle? I'm sure he knows it. I've read it. Several of the things that I've mentioned would be immediate termination offenses. I don't know why Mr. Pyle continues to protect him and his insubordination and negligence to the people of West Valley City. When is code enforcement going to start doing their job again? They put this moratorium on to stop sending anything but courtesy notices out without your approval. Once again, they admitted to that. When are they going to come back to doing their jobs and taking care of their job, the violations in West Valley City? First thing that needs, I know there's going to be some restructuring, is an SOP or a standard operating procedure that says every code enforcement will have it. They open it up, it says X, X, X. This is how we do our job, and take the all the different views out of their hands and say, this is what we want as the elected officials to govern our city. You guys go out and enforce it. A police officer has to follow a law. He can't say, well, no, I'm not going to follow that. I don't like the way it's written. They have to follow it until legislative change it. You guys are our legislative branch right now. And that needs to be part of being fixed. The other thing is the mailing of notices. We talked about that. Several people have come up and shown a lot of notices are created during the week, held in the office on Thursdays, sits there, it's dated, it's created, sits there Thursday night. They don't work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They come in Monday and it hits the mail. How about the other way around? They're dated and created on Monday and mailed the same day they're dated and created, instead of sitting in a mailbox for several days. There was one missing form, a very important form in the package that you guys got, and that's the final judgment from the ALJ. Everyone that was not dismissed, there's actually an abatement ordered if they don't come into compliance. Every single one of them, that's one of the lines in there. The other line that's in there says that if they don't reach out to the collection agency in a certain amount of time, all the original fines that have been dismissed can be put back on. Who makes that decision if they're going to be put back on? The ALJ, at least when Mr. Morris did it in the 2.5 years I reviewed when he was ALJ, never told a citizen about that. And then on the city manager, the discussion and stuff there. One thing on the form of government, we need a city manager that has an open door policy that will talk to the people, and maybe it wouldn't be such a negative interaction. It took me forever, and Nicole stepped up and said, I'm going to talk to Mr. Bisak, and Mr. Pyle wouldn't when we were doing all this code enforcement stuff. So maybe an open door policy might help the impression that the citizens have with the city manager if we stay with that form of government. My time is up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Speaker 7.
Hello, thank you, Mayor. So I wrote 3 topics down that I just wanted to mention and comment on tonight. One of them was I heard most, but not all of the code enforcement discussion last week. And I really appreciate the topics that were discussed and the whole idea that there is discussion of the different issues with code enforcement, but particularly the concept of a possible commission. And I'm not necessarily suggesting it, but I really appreciated the conversation around that way of interacting so that, because one of the things that I know and that is on my mind a lot is just how government interacts with the people that it serves. And it seems like that commission at least was a concept to approach that in a way that would be a good interaction between the city and the residents and actually help inform the residents. So that was another topic that I had it's on my mind a lot, is just how to help people understand what their government here is doing and become participants as much as possible. I know there are avenues, but it seems like there could be discussion of more and more ways for people to understand their government and understand participation in our town government. So that's on my mind a lot right now because I have a little more time on my hands. I'm glad to see the proposal to re-engage with the League of Cities and Towns, partly because, or mostly because, in my experience with the League, I just have seen it as a way to see what's going on in different cities and towns across the whole state and have interaction with other city leaders so that, I know it's a lot of money to participate in that. At least that's what I have understood is one of the reasons for leaving the League in the first place. But I think with that West Valley City is in a position, and you all are in a position to really guide this, to be leaders in the thinking in the League as much as anybody is. So really make it worth the money to participate and make it an investment worth that participation. So when I bring up the word of investment, that's the main topic that or the third or really primary topic that I wanted to get to. I'm now a member of the West Valley City Arts Foundation, and I'm really proud and excited to be involved with that. I don't know how that will end up, with what kind of place and how big a place and in what form its place on the budget will be, but I'm really excited for all of the opportunities and all of the points of possible discussion to consider the theater and the reactivation of the theater, as well as the other elements of entertainment and the Cultural Celebration Center, all of the places that people are starting. And I think more and more and more as they become aware, and as West Valley citizens, as West Valley residents become aware and participate in particular, I'm really excited about the theater in particular. I think that little theater space is really, really important for the potential it has to help West Valley City identify with theater as a form of art and a true form of art, and involve their kids and their families and themselves. And that's how the word gets out. I know that it doesn't necessarily always pay for itself with ticket sales, but I think it pays for itself in the points of pride that a city can take in having that kind of art presence and arts opportunity and theater opportunity for, again, the citizens and the families. So those are the things that I wanted to just briefly touch on tonight. I'm grateful for your work. Thank you so much for running for election and serving. And I'll try to be here regularly. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, was there anyone online that signed up? Okay, anyone in the audience that wanted to speak that didn't have a chance to sign up? Okay, thank you. I'll now turn the time over to Mr. Pyle, our city manager, for any comments.
Thanks, ma'am. I'll try to be quick. I don't normally respond to comments coming from the public comment period, but just a couple of updates that are associated with them. So one was on the parking ordinance, which I was kind of wondering myself because it had been a little while since we'd heard it. What I had forgotten was it's got to go through the planning commission, and it's at the planning commission in the end of February. So that's the next step for the parking ordinance. On the code enforcement changes, Mr. Morris had actually submitted to me a couple of days after the last discussion, what I think is pretty good and detailed description of what we think the council's thought and direction was on the subject. So that'll be coming back to you as well here pretty quickly, as well as some work with Mr. Bunderson on the concept of if we're going to create or add to or change the ALJ setup, what would that look like? So he's working on that as well. The only other thing I wanted to add was I hadn't heard of the businesses situation out there. That was new to me. I apologize if we've had any kind of wrong interaction with that, and we'll go check it out. And I think that's it. Thanks, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And I'll turn it to the council for any comments.
I just have one. I've received a message from Hunter Lopez, who was here in December. He's a young man at Granger High, and he wanted me to read this comment in city council. So if you'll allow me to, Mayor. He said, I'm a Granger High School student, along with playing 3 sports, and I'm a debate officer, maintaining a 3.9 GPA and serving as Key Club president, which is a service club. But over the past 2 years, our Key Club has done over 100 hours of service at West Valley Animal Shelter, as well as multiple school and neighborhood cleanup projects. Despite our efforts, I can't believe how much trash I see in our community, which is why I asked the question about what programs are in place and what efforts are being made to make those programs more productive. Even more specifically, do you think you, meaning us, can make current efforts more effective? Also, I would be very interested in doing whatever I can to help the cause of keeping West Valley clean and beautiful. Any direction or advice would be greatly appreciated, and I can see what we can do to implement this with the Key Club activities. Thanks for your time, Hunter Lopez. And he's a great young man who is serving his community at Granger High in West Valley City. And so I'll reach out to him and maybe reach out to staff to see what we can do to help him out. So thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I just listened to the comment tonight, and I just a couple things I want to bring it up with you guys. I think the first one is last Tuesday we had a study meeting, and we talked about co-enforcement, and we tried to do our best to serve our community. So we're thinking about we're going to put the co-enforcement board, and we encourage all of you here to be a member of the board, so can just like Elizabeth Waits is the represent our representative here in our city, and mention about it too, so we can convey the message back to the citizen here in our city, and work within the citizen and also for the West Valley City. So I encourage all of you, if you want to do that, be a member of the board. Okay, and we're gonna, just like our city manager mentioned, he gonna have the director Lang Morris gonna bring it up, some changes, some adjustment there, and so we can study a little bit more, and we can encourage you to be there and try to support and help our community. That's the first item. The second item is go back to item the speaker number 1. The speaker number 1, he brought up about 14 weeks and versus the 2 weeks, and also winter versus in summer. I would love our department to work with him and try to figure out why, if that's the case, why it take us so long for 14 weeks to give him permission to do that. and other cities. And I would like our department to study other city why they have only 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks to do that job. And we have to do it 14 weeks. And the other thing is I want to bring it up about is the winter, some reason for the winter, you cannot pinpoint something in the winter and you cannot give them a license because the winter, they cannot do much outside right now. I mean, it's snow, cold, and we have a lot of snow this year. So I think it's sad to hear that, but I want to find out both ways of this story. I want our department to study, work with the speaker number 1 right there, and I will follow up with this one next week. And that's all I have for tonight. And I appreciate you coming here and trying to helping us out for our city. And thank you so much.
All right, seeing no other comments, we will move along to our resolutions. We have resolution 23-09. Mr. Pyle.
Thank you, ma'am. This resolution would authorize the city to join the Utah League of Cities and Towns and pay the dues associated, which are $92,747.
Okay, thank you. I'll now turn it to the council for any comments or a motion.
A motion to approve resolution 23-09.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Ms. Kamic.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Ling.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to resolution 2010. Mr. Pyle.
Thank you, ma'am. This resolution would authorize the purchase of 3 trucks and snowplow equipment with Class C roads and stormwater funding. That would be 2 bobtail dump trucks and 1 10-wheel dump truck for $773,000 total between purchase and upfit.
Okay, thank you. I will now turn it to the council for comments or a motion.
I move for approval of resolution 23-10.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Ms. Kamic.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
No.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Yes.
and Mayor Ling.
Yes,
Motion passes by majority.
thank you. We will now go to resolution 23-11. Mr. Pyle.
Thanks, ma'am. With Class C road transportation sales tax money, this resolution would authorize a professional service agreement with Horrocks Engineering for a pavement conditioning or condition assessment with LiDAR technology, which is light detecting and ranging, or basically a laser technology to give us a database about the condition of our roads throughout the city.
Okay, thank you. I'll now turn it to the council for comments or a motion.
Move to approve resolution 23-11.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Ms. Kamic.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
No.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Ling.
Yes.
Motion passes by majority.
Okay, thank you. We'll now go to resolution 23-12. Mr. Pyle.
Thank you, ma'am. This resolution would authorize the purchase of 6 Zoll cardiac monitors from the ambulance fund in the amount of $215,000. That's across a period, I can't remember how many years, but basically it's a no interest lease in which the company will be able to fulfill the maintenance contract and make sure that these pieces of equipment are maintained to standard. Just for a little further clarification, these are the 12 lead heart monitors that the ambulances use as we bring people to the hospitals and perform a variety of functions.
Looks like 5 years. This is what it.
5 years. Yes, thanks, Will.
Thank you. I'll now turn it to the council for conversation or a motion.
Motion to approve resolution 23-12.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Ms. Kamic.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
And Mayor Ling.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. So if you feel like we're just buzzing through this way too fast, it's because we have had time to study and present it. It was presented to us 2 weeks ago. So we've had plenty of time to ask questions, research. So that's why this goes a lot faster. We'll now have resolution. Is it a yeah. 23-06, Mr. Pyle.
Thanks, ma'am. This is for hard installation or physical installation of a fiber optic line to the Ridge Golf Course from 5600 West. The capital cost would be $42,000 of one-time funding from the general fund balance, and then would also have a $50 a month monthly fee for connection.
Okay, thank you. I'll now turn it to the council for comments or a motion.
Yeah, I had asked for continuation just for a little more time to do some more research into potential alternatives and with that time given and information provided, I think this is probably still the most prudent option. So I would make the motion to approve resolution 23-06.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Ms. Kamic.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Ling.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We do not have a need for a closed session, so we have before we do the one more motion, we do not have any action items for next week, regular scheduled meeting. So this meeting will not be held next week. Look for us the next week. So we have just one motion left,
Motion to adjourn.
and all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And we